Hi everyone, this is Asperger again. I just needed a break. I've been playing MMORPGs, multiplayer online roleplay games. I used to play them a lot when I was younger, but now that I've started writing a blog and creating these YouTube videos, I've tried to hold back on drowning my mind with them. Anyway, this time I'll be talking about the unspoken words or backtracking on them. Now, I don't know if I'd consider this something in the outside world or on the internet. I've experienced this on the internet, but then again, I'm sure it happens out in the world as well. What I'm talking about is when someone tells you one thing, and yet the next minute they turn on you for not understanding what they really meant. I'm wondering whether this happens more online than talking to people face to face. But I've witnessed this on the internet at least. If someone says they're alright, then you believe they're alright. However, that's not always the case, certainly from what I've noticed. When someone argues with someone and you feel stuck, you'd write or talk to the person you've been writing or talking to previously. But when they say they're alright, are they really? Well, from what I've experienced, no, they're not. People have wrote to me that you can't tell what someone is thinking over the internet, and it's absolutely true. How am I supposed to know how someone is feeling online if they don't tell me? I've had experiences of asking questions of someone, and they've told me one thing, and then the next minute completely disregard what they've originally told me. Now, this has happened to me in more ways than the internet. I've grown aware that there are those out there that hide behind social masks. Masks that portray one side of their personality that they want others to see, and a secondary personality, that which lies beneath. How can anyone, not just on the spectrum, but neurotypical as well, notice that there are people that hide behind social masks? How can any of us tell what lies beneath each mask? How could we, on the spectrum, feel encouraged to continue socializing when we see no more than people wearing those masks? I have no answer to those questions, but this is the very subject of discussion in some senses. To hide behind a mask is to speak unspoken words, is to backtrack on those words. It is a false existence, not letting your own personality show. Then again, it's most likely a defensive maneuver. I'm not questioning that. But what I am questioning is how difficult it is for those on the spectrum to socialize, especially when we are faced with people that aren't even true to themselves. People can argue that wearing social masks protect them from a turbulent world. But then again, those same social masks make socializing all the more difficult for someone like me. I cannot lie, however. Even I would be cautious around others. This is why I do not question the validity of the mask, but rather the strain it puts on those that are really trying in a world full of the unknown. This unknown can be beset by those that we on the spectrum wouldn't be able to cope with, and those that we would. I ask then, how can we on the spectrum find who is and isn't someone we could open up to when so many out there wear these social masks? How do I know who it is I am actually talking to? I know that must sound strange, but it's true. Too often people can show themselves up to be absolute angels, and then the next minute they transform into demons from the pits of the closed-minded. I often wonder how many people out there are truly open-minded and how many are closed-minded. Those that are open-minded are essential for those of us on the spectrum, because they would be willing to listen to us, to get to know us for who we are, and work around our difficulties, not deny they even exist, or avoid us like we were infected with the plague. We are no ogres. We are human beings. We may have difficulties, and we may have rules to follow, but we have feelings, we care, we suffer, we struggle, we fight. We continue despite the odds, though it's true there are times when we can feel depression setting in, and it starts to feel hopeless. I am writing my blogs and reading my video blogs now because I am sick of having to continuously have to re-explain myself time and time again. Even after all this, I still feel I need to explain more. It's never enough. These unspoken words are from those that do not understand why we on the spectrum may not always be able to pick up on little subtleties. We may once we've become more familiar with someone. However, when it comes to the internet, I think a lot of us, not just on the spectrum, wouldn't always understand how someone feels unless they tell us. I've heard someone say those very words, that they are unable to understand how someone feels over the internet, and that's very true. How can we know what someone is thinking through writing alone? If we don't know the situation or the person very well, we'd need to know what is really going on for us to know how it would be best for us to react. Someone we've only just met, or someone on the internet, is an unknown for us. I wouldn't know what would be the best thing to do because I don't know what they would consider the best thing to do. See, I could do one thing, however the other person may not like what you're doing. How are you to know what it is they expect of you if you don't even know them well enough to be able to tell? When it comes to backtracking what is said, this is abhorrent for someone on the spectrum. Why? It's because those of us on the spectrum would live our lives believing what was told to us, but then we find out that it was all just a lie. This would be harmful to all of us, I bet, not just those on the spectrum. However, when you're on the spectrum, you think you know someone, you've grown familiar with them, then to hear that those very words you were told previously turned out to be total and utter lies, how would you know that everything else that was spoken wasn't lies either? Building a bond with someone in general, but even more so on the spectrum, requires trust. Once that trust is broken, the bond breaks, because we wouldn't know where we stood. This can be very harmful to someone on the spectrum, because once the person they thought they knew turned out to be false, their world could break in the blink of an eye. It all depends upon how strong that bond was. The stronger the bond, the greater the impact. Lies and truths. Well, to lie to someone on the spectrum that prefers to tell the truth, I can only speak for myself when I say, I prefer those that are true to themselves, and not those that lie to themselves. A little white lie may be one thing, but a lie that could change the foundation of trust in the autistic person is lethal. If you're neurotypical, providing you're aware that those on the spectrum that you've known only recently have difficulty understanding the unspoken words, and when you say something to someone on the spectrum you mean it, then I'm sure this issue wouldn't cause the individual on the spectrum to be affected too badly with this topic. When it comes to the internet, I think this is an issue nearly all of us face. How can we tell who we are talking to or what they really feel? I believe this is a topic that neurotypicals would need to be aware of if they interact with someone on the spectrum. It is an element of trust after all. Anyway, that's it for now, and thank you for listening.